What is the personality trait that every problem drinker has? I think there is a particular personality trait that all problem drinkers have. It gets them drunk, it keeps them drunk, and when we're trying to get sober, we will relapse if we don't resolve it. So I'm going to explain in this video what that personality trait is and how to overcome it. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button. It really helps with growing the channel and all that kind of stuff, and you don't miss a video. Okay, let's get into it. So I think that problem drinkers, and I was a problem drinker, I use the term alcoholic. I just like it. It just fits me. You don't have to use that. We take everything personally. It's not that we're sensitive, we are, but we interpret everything that everybody does, everything that happens in the world, we make it personal. And it's like we have a filter system. So we filter out things and we can just make it about us. And I'll explain what I mean by that. I just took everything personally, right? What you said, what you did, how you said it, how you did it, I would make that about me, right? If we had plans to go to the movies this Friday, and that's nice, going to the movies, grab a bite to eat beforehand, and you cancel the day before. Sorry, maybe you're sick or maybe whatever. Of course, maybe be a bit disappointed, looking forward to seeing the movie and your friend. I would start telling myself a story in my head that you did that and it's something to do with me, right? You did it because you don't actually really like me. You did it because you had a better offer. You're telling me you're sick, but really you had a better offer. And that's why you ditched me, because you did that, like, because any offer is better than me because I'm not good enough, right? I would make up a story in my head, even like innocuous things. Like, I don't know, maybe this is the kind of person I used to be, right? If I remember working in a big open plan office years ago, walk in on a Monday morning and I would, maybe you're at the computer and I'd go, oh, hi, Bob. How are you? How was your weekend, Bob? And you went, yeah, it was fine, thanks. And gave like a really frosty kind of, greeting back. I would immediately make that about me. I would immediately think, what did I do? What did I do wrong? Why doesn't Bob like me anymore? Was it something I said? Was it something I did? Bob is unhappy. He's unhappy with me. It has to be something about me he's unhappy with. Oh my God, I've upset Bob. And I would spend all day obsessed with the fact that I've upset Bob and I need to get Bob to like me again. See, you're sitting at the computer typing, you've said one sentence to me, you're obviously pissed off or upset about something. And I know deep down that what you're upset about is something that I have done or not done or not said, right? So I try to find that out. I try and get you to like me again, blah, blah, blah. That is an exhausting way to live, right? That is interpreting the word personally. Could be a million things going on with Bob. I don't know. Maybe he broke up with his girlfriend. Maybe he got some bad health news. Maybe he didn't get enough sleep, right? The thing is, here's the really good news. Everybody's getting on, like, it's not about you. It's just not about you, right? The way people show up in the world, the way they are, what they say, it is not about you. But when you have this condition of an alcohol problem, see, it's not just about the alcohol. When I say getting sober is 10% not drinking alcohol and 90% emotional sobriety, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is the bit you have to do, right? Because when I stopped drinking, taking everything personally didn't go away. In fact, it was worse because I didn't have an anesthetic to numb the feelings of rejection and hurt and all that kind of stuff. And see, the other thing is, not only do we take it personally, it's always negative, right? Like, I will immediately, just because of the way Bob went, oh, I'm fine, thanks, right? Immediately, I think that's something bad about me, right? So that is, just think of the different ways that you maybe do that. So nothing is personal. This is the solution. This is the emotional sobriety bit. We need to create an internal emotional shift so that we see everything differently and we don't take things personally. So where we want to get to, right, is we want to walk into the office on a Monday and go, oh, hi, Bob, how was your weekend? And if Bob's like, yeah, it was fine, thanks. We want to go, I wonder what's up with Bob? Go about our day. If Bob's got a problem, I'm going to trust that Bob is an adult and he'll come and tell me. Otherwise, I'm busy, got things to do, got things to think about. And I go about my day. The difference in living like that is monumental. Instead of wasting all this time and energy obsessing about what someone did, how they said it, they said this, but what did they really mean, right? Have you done that? Like they said, oh God, it's worse on text, isn't it? They texted this, but what did they really mean? What did that emoji, did it mean this or did it, oh my God. So here it is. And I'm going to say that it talks about this in other places. That is self-obsession. The obsession of self. We make everything about us. Freedom. So when we talk about freedom, when we get sober, we want to have freedom from alcohol, right? We don't want to think about drinking. It doesn't exist. We just go about our day. We're not triggered. We're not bothered, right? That's freedom. But I want to tell you what we are talking about, or what I talk about when I talk about freedom. I'm talking about having freedom in your mind. Having freedom in your mind. By the way, there is a program below that will help you with this. Check it out. All my tools and stuff to get out of this way of thinking, it's in that program. So we want to have freedom in our mind, right? We just don't want to be worrying and obsessing about, oh, is Bob upset with me? Or what we just think of what you could do with your time and your energy, what you could get done if you weren't worrying about what you thought other people thought. Now, here is the thing. You don't know what anyone thinks of you. You have no idea. When we do this, we are projecting our own insecurities, fears, and limiting beliefs onto someone else's behavior and believing that we know what they think. You don't. You don't know what anybody else thinks. You don't. You don't know what I think. We can't see in other people's heads, right? What we're doing through a very faulty kind of filter system is we are judging their behavior. It's like we add it up and make an equation out of it, and the answer is always the same. What we make this equation mean there's something wrong with me. I'm not good enough. I'm not liked. I don't fit in. That's how we interpret everything around us. So let me put this all together. Underneath all of this is limiting beliefs. Underneath this is a belief system that is faulty. We all have a belief system and we all have limiting beliefs, right? It's kind of part of the human condition. I just think they're kind of multiplied in people who have an alcohol or drug problem, right? Our belief system is our programming. We're just programmed, right? Our subconscious mind runs the show. And we don't realize that programming is faulty. We just don't. So that programming is running the show. And if you're programming, so my programming, my belief system was I wasn't good enough. And because I wasn't good enough, I wasn't going to be loved. And I believe those are faulty beliefs, by the way, limiting beliefs. And I believe those things like facts. I just believe that was a fact. That's just how it was. So once that's established in you, and you might have your own version of that, I'm going to tell you, really unoriginal. I do this work with my clients and nobody has original limiting beliefs. They're all variations of not being good enough, not being liked, not fitting in, not being valued, not being seen. Like we all have a version of that. So if you have that deep inside of you, you operate on that belief system, right? You just operate, you just believe that's how it is. And so therefore, you're just primed to interpret everyone's behavior everyone's behavior then reinforces your beliefs about yourself. That's what happens. What people say, what people do, you make an interpretation and it reinforces your beliefs about it. That is what is driving your drinking. That is what's underneath it. And that's how you resolve it, because it's just a horrible way to live. It's just a horrible way to live. Now, how do we resolve it? Let me talk you through this. There's several things. Emotional sobriety is it's not a switch and 7 days later you're emotionally sober, right? Emotional sobriety is a practice. It is behavior change that you practice over time. Check out the program below. Lots of stuff in there. So first of all, having boundaries, that will begin to help. Beginning to have boundaries will expose your people-pleasing behavior. And the reason that we have people-pleasing behavior is because we think everything's about us and we just want everyone to like us because we feel better if we believe everybody likes us. Again, a horrible place to live, really uncomfortable, going to get you drunk. So you need to have boundaries. You need to, and this is the hill I will die on. I believe that you have to have a practice to deal with resentments, fear, and limiting beliefs. And it's a structured journaling practice. And that structured journaling practice, you will reveal yourself to yourself. You will be able to see this really faulty thinking. That's what it does. It reveals really faulty thinking. And then you can see it on the page and go, that's a bit mad, isn't it? Like, actually, that's a bit crazy. Is that really what's happening? Or has Bob just going through a tough time? Is Bob just not had enough sleep? I think actually when Bob goes, yeah, I'm all right in the mornings, I actually think that's to do with what's going on with Bob. It's not anything to do with me. So we need to see it and we need to have a practice to pluck these weeds out of our minds. It's faulty thinking. All what I'm talking here is just faulty thinking. So a lot of us, for me, my thinking was just faulty. It kind of just went down weird cul-de-sacs that didn't make any sense. And I built a worldview and I built a belief system based on things that were not true. They just were not true. So the goal of being emotionally sober is that we no longer take things personally, that nothing is about us. It just isn't. Trust me on this. Even the things that feel really personal are still not personal. And I want to tell you why. The way people behave with you, what they say, what they do, that is a reflection, a manifestation of how they feel about themselves. So back to our friend Bob, if he's like, yeah, fine, he's grumpy, he's not friendly, he's not open, right? That is a reflection of what's going on with Bob emotionally. Again, we don't know what that is. We can guess, but there's a lot going on with Bob emotionally. So what he says and how he says it and what he does, that is a reflection of what's going on with him emotionally. It's not anything to do with you. And this gave me like mind-blowing freedom. Like it didn't happen overnight. It was a process that I had to keep practicing and practicing and practicing and practicing. But it changed my whole life. I'm just going to tell you, it changed my whole life. That is the work that you have to do. That is why I preach about emotional sobriety all the time, because you don't have a switch in your head to just go, oh, I'll just see things differently and I'll have a better belief system. Click, right? You don't have that. We need to get this we need to just rearrange things so we see the world differently. And we do that through an emotional sobriety practice. Check out the link below. It will get you started and it will help you with that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hopefully this made sense. Take care.